The second phase of the Champions League match is just finished up, and today I'm going to be talking and reacting to these matches because some of these teams need to get cooked. Another thing that I'm going to be talking about is Juventus. They're freaking trash. I'm going to be talking over the next phase of the Champions League and who I think will get through. And I'm going to be comparing the Champions League to what we had 11 years ago when all these teams were in their prime. And to finish it off, I'm going to be talking about Manchester City spending that they had in the January transfer window, 224 million just the month of January. And I'm going to be reviewing this goal because some of these Barca fans, or I should say some of these Barca fans, need a little reality check. Take off those Barca lens. You look like a jackass. And let's get right to this. Real Madrid just beat Manchester City 3-1. And we're going to go look at the lineups. Because I need a cook. I need a cook. Now, when we look at this lineup, we realize that this isn't the lineup that we all thought was going to be in the beginning of the season. This team has a lot of injuries. And there's a lot of players who are just coming back from injuries. So this whole excuse that Pep Guardiola has about Manchester City and how, we're facing an injury with Rodri, that's BS. You're just a fraud. You're on fraud watch. I want to take a moment to compare all the signings that Manchester City did over this past transfer window. Look at this. Just in the month of January, when Manchester City started doing bad, Pep Guardiola went out and spent 224 million. Do you know how much Ancelotti spent? Do you know how much Real Madrid spent? 0. And yeah, Pep Guardiola has done a lot for this club. He deserves to be sacked. And the truth is that the reason why he's not being sacked is because Pep Guardiola is bigger than Manchester City. Pep Guardiola is bigger than a whole bunch of clubs. And we have to face the fact that this dude, his system, it kind of rules the world of football right now. And on top of that, he's bigger than a lot of these clubs. His name represents so much more than Manchester City. Because Manchester City has no value. Manchester City is a fraud club. Manchester City is a Saudi club. They're ass. And there's only a couple teams that would really sack Pep Guardiola. And I would say the only teams that I could think of is Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and that's about it. Those are only the two clubs that I guess you could say stand on business. And if they say, no, you're not doing good, get the hell out of my club. Every other club is soy. Every other club is scared that, maybe we won't do as good because Pep Guardiola is too big of a coach. Who's a better coach than Pep Guardiola? Yeah, Pep Guardiola is a good coach when he has 500 million, 1 billion to spend. But when he doesn't have a pool of great players, when he doesn't have 30 players in his squad rotating constantly, he's ass. I know this is reaching, but a lot of people will say, and you could point towards that his system, which doesn't reward creative players, his system kind of is a system that is being played right now, and that's ruining football. Now there's no creative players, and now there's no players that can individually settle a game. That has caused the full level of quality to go down. Now this is a reach, so I don't want to get too much into this, but let's go to this game and just review this real quick. First of all, I just want to say Asencio is starting to become the new Sergio Ramos of this team. This dude has a great passing depth. He has a great range of passing, and look at this. Like he sees Mbappe, and he has to make that pass not only to where Mbappe can get it on time, but where he beats these two defenders, Ruben Diaz and John Stones, or whatever the fuck your name is. So he passes it. That's a great pass. And that's the second time he's done a pass like that. So I think you're starting to see a player that replicates what prime Sergio Ramos did. My only issue with Asencio is that this dude slides way too much. Slide tackling should be something that you do when you have no other option. I feel like this dude's slide tackle is just to be in a highlight reel. Like, that's going to get Madrid in trouble. So that's my only complaint about Asencio. Other than that, this team, Manchester City, they were wide open. They were coached horribly. And I think it's mostly because of confidence. Because when you have no confidence, You just second guess everything you do, and on top of that, you kind of react slower. So I think there were some moments in this game where you really saw this team is just so unorganized, and it's because the players they just, it seems like the situation is getting too big for them now, and they're not tracking. They're second guessing how they track back. They're doing stuff half-heartedly because it seems like they're not starting to trust the system of Pep Guardiola. He has a good system. Let's be real. He has a really good system, but you have to buy into it. You have to buy all the way into it. And if one player isn't buying into it, then it kind of throws everything off. It's weird because I talk shit about Pep Guardiola, but that prime Manchester City team, every player knew what they were doing, and every player was perfectly settled in that pitch. But these players are getting old, and on top of that, the talent that there used to be in the world of football isn't there anymore. He's kind of left I think, in no man's land with his coaching. His coaching system has got to either change, which I don't think it will change. It's changed from the past prime Barca years, but I still think he hasn't changed that much. There's still the game plan is still pretty similar. He still needs really good players to excel. He needs luxury players to do good for a system to work. And if he has a player that is all right, then he's not gonna do good. He doesn't do good with average players. I think we've all seen this now. And yeah, I mean, this team is just. Let's take a moment to review this. I mean, when Vinicius is right here, look how open this field is, and it seems like all of them were just caught lacking over here. They all realized that they weren't marking correctly, and now they're trying to fill in the space. Rodrigo gets the ball, he passes it to Mbappe, and then Mbappe gets, I believe that's Ruben Diaz. He does a great fake, and all these players are just left in no man's land. This team it just feels like they're always lost in the pitch, especially when they start losing. So that's really it. That's all I'm gonna really talk about for this game. Other than that, Juventus. Oh my God! Like, Juventus is just so trash now. Juventus is garbage. PSV, they have a lot of good players. I didn't realize how many good players they had. And Perisic, people have to put respect on Perisic's name. This dude has accomplished so much in football. And I mean, he was part of that Bayern Munich squad that beat Barcelona 8-2. He was part of the Croatia squad that made it to the World Cup final. And he's 36 years old, and he's still scoring and putting in banger performances. So we get to put respect on Perisic's name. Juventus, it just seems like they lost their identity. All of Italy really has lost their identity. Back then, when you think of Italian football, you would think of players that were always super intelligent, and they were gritty. And if anything, if one thing about them is that you knew they were gonna defend well, and they were gonna have good defenders. But now, Juventus is trash. All these players are soy. All these players are soy, and I'm gonna talk about that in another video, but because I have a theory of why these players in this world are soy. And if you look at all the players from the generation from the 1990s to 2000, they're soy as fuck. They're soft. All these players are soft, and that's my generation. So I'm talking shit about my generation. But PSG, they demolished Brest, and I mean, yeah, we kind of expected that already. But this is the next round. Up until now, we're gonna see the draw. Every team is kind of strong. Every team is relatively strong. I feel like there's not gonna be a team that gets run through. I feel like every team here that have made it, they're gritty enough to make it, and the gap between the great teams and the average teams have closed. So I feel like the only team that's gonna get kind of ran through for the most part is Club Brugge. Even though Club Brugge beat Atalanta, I don't see them going past Lille or Aston Villa. Maybe they'll get past Lille. We'll see. They did fairly good though, and they beat Real Madrid. So we'll see. But let's compare this bracket to the bracket from 11 years ago. Look at the quarterfinals. Look at even here, like every team that was making it to the Champions League knockout stages, they were stacked. And I think that's something that we're not seeing. Like this Champions League, and there was about a 5-year phase where there were so many contenders, and now I would say for the past 5 years, there's only been 2 or 3 contenders per year. Yeah, Inter Milan, they made it to the Champions League final. Dortmund, they made it to the Champions League final, but we never really gave them a chance. And it's always been either Liverpool, Real Madrid, Manchester City, and also Bayern Munich that one year. Other than that, they've went down, and every team has been not that good. And when you think about the teams that there are right now, you see their players, and these players are average. You look at this team, and the players that were in each of these teams, and Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Atletico, they had solid lineups, and you're just not seeing that level of talent anymore, and that's why the great teams have kind of gone down, and the average teams have maintained average. So that gap has closed. You're starting to see a lot more dark horses, even though it's not that there's a dark horse that's playing really good. It's just that every team is average, and that's just my theory. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in right now. But I do think that this next generation coming up from 2000 to 2010, I mean 2010, like what, the players are 15 now, but there's a lot of quality that's coming up. So hopefully the world of football sparks again, because we need some more talent. And now I just want to talk about the Barcelona versus Rayo Vallecano goal that was disallowed, because people are saying, oh, the Rayo Vallecano player, he was offsides, and he interfered in the play. Yeah, he did interfere in the play, but guess what? He stood still. He stood still, and Indigo Martinez literally ran to him. He literally ran to him and bumped into him, trying to defend him. And then once he saw that he wasn't gonna get the ball wasn't gonna go to him, it seemed like he tried covering the goal. So I just want to ask this: whose fault is it that Indigo Martinez decided to run towards the Rayo Vallecano player? And also, what if Indigo Martinez decided not to run to him and just go straight to the defender? You're telling me that would be a goal? So it was really Indigo Martinez's decision that kind of disallowed this goal. So I just think this goal was disallowed because of translation of the rules, and it was the wrong translation. At the end of the day, Indigo Martinez's decision caused this goal to be disallowed. So I just wanted to bring that up because I just don't agree with it. This goal was not meant to be disallowed. So these 2 little stupid comments that were complaining about me being dumb or keep crying in my comment section, yeah, you guys are freaking stupid. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in the thumbnail. So hopefully you enjoy that. Anyways, we need to get to 50 subscribers by February. I got 2 subscribers last night. We're up at 25. 25. So I need 25 more subscribers by the end of February. And I just realized February has 28 days. That means I have less than 10 days. I'm screwed. But no, I'm going to keep shooting for that. Hopefully you guys subscribe and like this video. Anyways, Pumpkin Pigs out.